Hello, I'm Sushma, and today you'll be seeing the CanReg5 installation with me. I hope the screen is visible to all. Before we start with CanReg5 installation, we'll have a brief introduction of what CanReg5 is all about. We have cancer registries running around the world, and the main function of the cancer registry is to collect data on cancer, to store this data, check the quality of the data which is collected, and prepare report by analyzing that data. Now, what exactly is CanReg5? CanReg5 is nothing but a tool which has been developed, a software which has been developed by the IACR, which is the International Association for Cancer Registries. Now, what does this CanReg allow us to do? It allows us to enter the data, check the quality of the data, to store that data, and allows us to do certain basic analysis on the data. Let us see the compatibility of CanReg5. CanReg5 runs on various operating systems like Windows, Mac, as well as Linux. In Windows, it runs on various versions like Windows 7, Windows 8, and Windows 10. Let us see the availability of CanReg5 setup files. As mentioned earlier, IACR has developed this open source tool, which is CanReg5, and it can be downloaded directly from the IACR website. There's also an instruction manual available on the same website. Now, let us see the contents of CanReg5. The CanReg5 contains an XML file which defines the structure of the database. And secondly, there is a dictionary file which contains certain coded values of variables. When we say the XML file contains the data structure, it is the items or the variables which the cancer registry collects. When we have the dictionary file, it actually contains coded variables. That is, for example, if we have a variable named as district, we have certain values or a defined population, or maybe multiple. Our registry is running in multiple districts. In that case, we will code the districts for which we are collecting the data. For example, if my registry is in Mumbai, I will have Mumbai as one. If the registry is also collecting data in Thane district, Thane, I can code it as 2, and so on. Let us see the architecture of CanReg5. We have patient record table, we have the tumor record table, and a source record table. In the patient record table, it is nothing but the data related to the patient. That is maybe the name of the patient, the age, or the date of birth, his address, various maybe comorbid conditions if the registry that registry is collecting, and so on. We also have contact details as well as unique IDs which are also present for the patient. Secondly, we have the tumor record. Now, the tumor record is a table which is dependent on the patient record. Each patient can have single or multiple tumors. So information regarding that particular tumor is actually recorded in the tumor record table. For example, we have the date of diagnosis, of that particular tumor. We have the site where the tumor is located, the histology type, the treatment taken for that particular tumor. All these variables can be in the tumor record table. Next, we will come to the source record table. The source record table is nothing but gives us the information of the tumor where it was collected. Supposing if I'm getting information of a particular tumor from a path lab, the information regarding the path lab is mentioned in the source record table. One single tumor can have multiple records in the source table. This is because a single patient may be visiting a number of path lab or maybe for diagnosis or a number of hospitals for his treatment. So we have single record in the patient table. There may be single or multiple records in the tumor table, and each tumor can have multiple source records. This next slide gives us a more accurate example of what we are talking. We have in first scenario, we have record number 1, where we have a single patient, patient number 1, who has a single tumor, and the information was obtained from a single source, that is source 1. Let us see the next record. This is the patient record 2. This single patient is having one single tumor, but the information about this tumor was obtained from 2 different sources, source 2A and source 2B. One may be a path lab, one may be a treatment center. Now let us come to the third scenario, record number 3, where we have patient number 3 who is having multiple tumors. That is, he may have a tumor in esophagus, he may have a separate tumor in the buccal mucosa. So there are 2 tumors which this patient is having, tumor 3A and tumor 3B. The information for the first tumor, that is 3A, was obtained from a single source, source 3A. Whereas the information regarding the tumor 3B was obtained from multiple sources, that is source 3B1 and source 3B2. I hope this is clear. So we can move on to the installation part of CanReg5. Let us see the types of software which are required for the smooth functioning of our CanReg5 software. We have mandatory softwares, that is Java Development Kit, and CanReg5 Setup, which are the mandatory softwares. We have the supporting softwares, that is the R software, the SEER, and the PS Viewer. Next, we have the utility software, that is the Zip, Notepad++, and PDF View. Now we will start with the installation process. We can start with the utility softwares or the mandatory softwares. And lastly, we will go to the supporting or utility. Let us go to the steps for installation. Installation of mandatory software. We have provided you with a folder which contains the mandatory, supporting, as well as utility softwares. We'll go to the first one, that is the mandatory softwares. We can double click it. You will see the setups for CanReg as well as Java. So before we start with the installation, we require to see what is the operating bit size, operating system bit size. Let us just a moment. Let me see on my laptop also. I'm going to my computer, this PC, right clicking to see the properties. Here in system type, I can see the operating system bit size, that is 64-bit operating system. I will close this. I will go to the same folder which has been provided to you also. I'll click on mandatory softwares. Here I will go for Java installation. We have Windows 64-bit. Since this operating system is having 64-bit size, we will go for Windows 64-bit. I have a setup here, JDK. I'll just double click on this. It is asking me to allow changes to my device. I click on yes. The wizard has started. So I will just go to next, next. It's asking me for the destination folder. I'm keeping the defaults. Yes, the Java development kit has been installed successfully. We close here. Now let us go to the next. Let us go for the installation of CanReg5. The setup is provided here. It's asking me for changes to the system. I click on yes. We set the language to English. The wizard has started. You can just go to next, accept the agreement. Next, 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 and click on install. Finish. So the mandatory softwares have been installed. Next, we will go for the supporting softwares. Just before that, we'll go back to our slides and check whether we have missed out any step. Step number 3, 4 have been completed. That is, Java was installed completely. Step number 5 and 6, yes, we have gone through the same. Now, let us come to the installation of the supporting softwares. First, we'll start by installing PS Viewer. After that, we'll install R. And after that, we'll go for the C. Now, let me go to my laptop. I'll double click on the supporting softwares folder. Here I have PS Viewer. Since the bit size is 64, I'll click on Next. I agree. Next. Finish. Next. We have two files. We click on setup. Next. 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 We'll click on exit. Now let us go to our setup. You have a folder called R. We'll go for the latest version, 3.5.2. We'll say yes. We select the language for installation. Next. Next. Finish. So our installation is done. Now we'll go for installation of C. You have two installations here. The seed prep, we double click. Yes. Say next in the wizard. Next. Next. And finish. Next, we go for the seed stats. Double click. Yes. Say next in the wizard. Next. 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 Finish. So all the three supporting softwares are installed. Let us see if we have missed out any of the steps. We have gone through step number 1 and 2. We have installed both the files. Next, we have installed R by using step 3 and 4. After this, we have gone for installation of seed. We have installed seed pep as well as seed stats. So our supporting software installation is complete. Let us go for the installation for utility softwares. First, we will go for installation of zip. Next, we will go for installation of Notepad++, and after this for PDF viewer. Now let me go back to my screen. In the utility software folder, I have 3 softwares. First, I will click on zip. Here I have the setup for zip. Just click on yes. It's showing me destination folder. Click on install by accepting defaults. setup has been completed. Close. Go back. Text. Here we have the setup for the Notepad++. Say yes, make changes, select the language. The wizard has started. Click on next. Accept the agreement. Next. And finish. We have already installed Notepad++. Now I have already installed Adobe Acrobat, which is Adobe Reader. So if it is already existing on your system, you need not install it again. Let me go to the slides to see whether I have missed out any of the steps. Yes. First, we have installed WinZip by double-clicking this icon. After that, we have gone through the wizard and completed this installation. Next, we have installed Notepad++. This is done. And since I had already PDF viewer at Adobe Acrobat, I have not installed PDF viewer. But if you do not have this, you can double click and use the steps in the installation wizard for completion. Now, this completes our CanReg5 installation. I would like to acknowledge Dr. Atul Budo, who is our head of division, for giving me this opportunity to present this. As well as I would also like to acknowledge my colleague, Mr. Pratik Sawant, our programmer, for sharing most of his slides with me. Thank you.